Hi, I'm Deb and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be making doll hair for the little doll that we finished, our Modern Rag doll. Her body was all done. Now she just needs some hair and a skirt and she will be all dressed and ready to go. Let's get started. Ready to work on our doll and add some hair to her. If you haven't seen the video, this is our cloth doll series that I finished the doll and that's been posted. Now we're going to do some hair. What you're going to need is, I have some worsted weight yarn. You can use any weight, just you'll need more yarn if it's real thin. A pair of scissors, some matching thread, and a book that you're going to see how you're going to use that in a minute. And I'm just going to take a strand of yarn. Just take any piece that you want to measure the length for her hair. And I've got a 12-inch piece here. And I think that's going to give me just what I want. Make sure you have a little bit extra so you can trim in the end in case you need to make it nice and straight, because it is difficult to keep them all lined up. But I think I'm going to go with that. So set her aside. And what you're going to do next is just find a book that'll give you about the size you want. So mine's 12 inches. And let's see, this book is 5.5 inches. So that'll give you an idea what size you need to go around. So all you're going to do is wrap your yarn around the book. I've got 60 times around here. That should be enough to get me almost enough. But I can always cut a little bit more later. So we'll set that aside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the book where the pages are. And you're going to take your scissors and cut down the middle. There. And I'm going to lay those out. Try to help myself keep things neat, but it doesn't really matter if they don't stay in that configuration. You're going to actually take them in bundles of 4. I've decided I'm doing on this one. You can switch that up, whatever you feel is going to work best for you, but I think this 4 bundles seems to work good for me. So you're going to take that and just set it aside, and then just take your bundles as you go, lining them up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to lose a lot of length on your yarn, otherwise your doll's hair gets short pretty quickly. I measured the size of her head, and right in the middle I made myself a little mark so I know where I'm going to make her hair parted in the middle this time. And I put myself a few little dots with my Frixion pen so I can see just where a hairline would be, kind of trying to gauge where I want it to be. I'm going to do little bangs on this, so I don't want it to be real far down in the front. So you're going to take your piece in half and put the half onto the middle. And when you're sewing, you have your threaded needle with a knot on the end. You're going to start out by coming in through the back. Come out through the front. And then you're going to go over the top of that. Now for the next one, you're going to go down, back in, beyond your little bundle, and you're going to go a stitch length away. This is called the back stitch. So I'm going to pull that one tight. And then take another bundle, put the center on the center of your doll's head. Come around from the back, in through the front, and go another stitch length away. So now you've got your first 2 pieces secured. That looks good. I'm going to, I think, give myself a little line in the back. We're going to go down to the mid back of her head here. And I can see on my measurements here that it's her head is 3 inches. Here's their center. So I want to give myself a little straight line because I do tend to wander sometimes. So just give myself a little indication where that's going to be. All right, so now I'm ready for my next bundle. Lay that down and behind you, or behind her, I should say. Line up her hair. Come back around to the front. And do another stitch length away. I would say mine is about 1/4 of an inch that I'm leaving for my stitch, for the next stitch to be. So, and you're going to keep on doing that until you're about midway to the back of the head. I ended up using 68 strands. Her hair ends at about halfway, probably a little higher than halfway. And what I did was I took a couple of bundles, I think I did 4, that I just took the bundle, still had thread on my needle, and I put them on the top of the bundles that I have just to make her hair a little bit thicker. So you can do that if you don't feel yours is thick enough. I like to make the doll's hair not too thick, but I don't like to see the doll's scalp. So there are different ways you can do that. You can make like a wig cap. I've done the wig cap idea before, and it makes a very thick head of hair if you're using this kind of yarn. And if you use thinner yarn, you have to use more. So I have to try that one again. I'm sure that there's a way to get it looking the way I'd like. But what you're going to do now is just lift up, leave yourself enough to cover her hair, her scalp, and these are still, at this point, still able to be pulled back and forth. So if you find that one's too long or it's just a little uneven and you want to fix it, you can just tug on it and it'll make it a little longer or shorter. So I'm just going around and just pulling that up, leaving myself one layer underneath. When you put it back down too, it is good to try to get it on the side that you had it on before. It just makes a nice, neat look, I think. So you're going to have some hair that's going to come down here in the back. When you're done too, just knot off your thread and then poke down in and come back out through your doll in another spot, and it'll sink right down inside your ending spot. Thread, I guess I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got about one layer around. There's one really short guy here, so we're going to pull on that a little bit. That one got away from us, I guess. And you can take another strand if you want to do this and just loosely tie it so it's up out of your way while you work on the bottom layer. There. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom layer of her hair. And what we're going to do now is take our needle, our threaded needle, and go around and secure it somewhere down where you'd think beneath her ear would be. Okay, now I'm stitching, and I'm going to be doing the back stitch just similar to what I did for the top of the head. So you're going to go in from the back, and I'm trying to go only over 2 strands at a time. Otherwise you can see like a big strand of thread. This will blend in a little bit better. So just hold it down flat, your 2 strands, go in behind those, go back to front, and pull. And I did have to bring a little bit more hair down. This part of the head tends to show through just because your seam is there. So I pulled a little bit more yarn to try to keep that area a little bit more covered. So we'll work on that going all the way around, giving her a nice hairline in the back. Okay, I've sewn all around, and here's her nice thick hair. It's a bit uneven in the back here, so we're gonna trim that off a little bit. I usually tend to trim it a little shorter on the sides and longer in the back, just because that's the way it ends up usually. Just happen to have longer pieces here, so I just trim that off. Neaten it up. You can add more hair at this time too. I mean, if you were really feeling like you didn't have enough, you can still do the same process over the top and add her some more hair, but I think we're pretty good here. And she looks very nice. So there's her hair all done. And then I've got a couple pieces that are about 6 inches long, and I folded them in half. There's 4 pieces here. What I'm going to do is just take my thread and tack that little bundle in the front of her hair, and then we're going to have some little bangs at the front. I came in a little past the hairline here with a back stitch, so now I'm going to put my dolly's bangs through the middle there, and then I'll go through with a front from the back to the front. Do that a couple of times. Always make sure you knot off when you're finished using a piece. And then I have a wide tooth comb that I happen to have that I use to kind of comb their hair straight. Always better to go longer first, and then you can decide if you want to cut it a little shorter. Go about down to her eyes here. Then I use a piece of tape to clean off their face, because it does tend to pick up a lot of little bits of yarn. So there we have her with her new little hairdo.